Hi guys, it's Kristy Marks, back for another episode of A Mother's Voice, where I talk about everything to do with the feminine, the mother, the female, and I give a voice to all the feelings that we have. And it's just my own little take on the world. So today I'm going to talk about something that's very topical. I feel like that's the only thing I'm hearing about at the moment. The mental load, the mother's mental load, the woman's mental load. And as I said, I feel like it's just being talked about a lot at the moment. I actually listened to a Mamma Mia podcast about it the other day, and I saw a video of Kate Ritchie and Maggie Dent having a discussion on radio, and Kate Ritchie getting quite upset by it, or quite emotional, not upset, just the emotions, I think. Even the Barbie movie's talking about the mental load of being a woman in today's society. And I think it's a really, really important thing to call out. And obviously, it's obvious, lots of people are talking about it. So it's becoming more apparent. I'm not sure that it's changing all that much, unfortunately. But it's something that we need to talk about because we need to give a voice to it. We need to share how we're feeling, because quite often women, you often think, oh, what a day, what a week, what a month, what a year, when it's only 10 a.m. on Monday on the 1st of February. Like, you have to wonder, our brains are just going, and how do we talk about that, and offset that mental load that we carry? So a couple of things I'm going to talk about today are women's brains being different to men's, and that overwhelm and exhaustion that comes with that mental load that we carry. So it's been scientifically proven that women's brains are different to men's. We process things differently. We think about things differently. And it's actually a scientific fact. So all those women who are out there who are thinking, oh my gosh, I worry about everything, we all do. All women worry, all women process things differently, all women carry this mental load with us, because it's not just about the physical things that we have to do each day. It's about all those choices that we make as well throughout the day, throughout our lives, that come back to haunt us a little bit, which is a terrible folly of women. So, really, really basic example, when Dan and I go out on a date night, I book the restaurant, I book the babysitter in, I book the Uber, I prepare a meal for the kids, I prepare the kids for the babysitter coming, I prepare the house to make sure everything's set up for the babysitter so they don't have to do anything. I get ready, I prepare the money for the babysitter, and that's on top of everything else that I've already done that day. And Dan gets ready and says, I'm ready. And I'm not sure that he would think about, he kind of actually just says to me, oh, have you booked a babysitter? And I don't think it's anything in his mind that he's doing on purpose or on, out of spite. It's just what we take on as women. And I've got a really funny story of when I was away. I must have been away with I wasn't away with my girlfriend, so it must have been with my mum and my sister-in-laws. We go away probably once a year together. And Dan took the kids to the park and met up with some friends, that the family friends. And I remember coming back and seeing my girlfriends that week, and them saying, oh, Kristy, we had the funniest experience at the park with Dan. And our littlest was still in nappies, so the kids were really small. It must have been when our eldest was in kindy or year one, so it was quite a few years ago. So our little girl was in nappies, and Dan forgot to take a nappy. He didn't take a nappy. He didn't take the nappy bag. He had nothing, and she did poo. And so he just went, oh, it's all right. So he got serviettes, cleaned her up, and she just ran around with just shorts on for the rest of the time at the park. And to a woman, it's comical, obviously, But it's almost like, well, why didn't you just go home? But he didn't want to, because all the kids were having such a great time. It didn't bother her. And, you know, they were only there for a little while longer. So, you know, she didn't need to go to didn't wet her pants or anything like that. But it's just a funny thing. Whereas if it had been me, I would have checked, do I have everything that I need? And I think we put it on ourselves, don't we, a little bit? I think we sometimes we think about things too much. And we get ourselves into this awful rhythm of too much going on in our heads. But it's really hard to clear that, particularly because it is ingrained, because it is part of our biology. So it's a really interesting thing, and I don't think I understand it, and it's really I find it really hard to get it out there about what's in my head, which is understandable because there's a lot going on in my head. But in terms of that overwhelm and exhaustion, I feel as though as the children grow, that mental load is getting more and more. There's more things, there's more balls in the air, there's more things that we need to do, there's more things that we need to tick off, for want of a better word. But, you know, I lose my mind, as everybody does, every now and again. But more often than not, I choose self-care instead. So I go to the gym, I go for a walk outside. I give myself some space to be able to process what's going on in my head. And the other thing I've found really, really, really helpful, and again, I've spoken about this before, communication. So with that mental load that you're carrying, your partner or the man in your life or the men in your life, they do not get it. They do not get it. And unless we actually talk to them about it and actually say, I need some help, these are the things I need help with, they're not going to understand. So recently, while we were on holidays, Dan and I had a long conversation about me being back at working and how that looks for us in our family. So Dan's working full time and I'm also working in the business, and the expectation that I have to do everything, it's getting too much for me. I can't do everything. I'm not a superhero. I can't do everything. So Dan and I had a conversation around what are the things that are pain points for me? What are the things that I struggle with day to day that Dan can actually help with? So we came across it, and if I'm going to be working, there needs to be something that gives a little, because I can't do everything. And so I said to him, these are, you know, I don't, the stressful thing is doing meals every single night. You know, the other things I've spoken about, getting the kids out the door, but he's not here. He can't, and he's, you know, I'd prefer him to be at work early so he can come home early. And deal with the other end of the day. But it's those meals, it's that meal prep, constantly thinking, what are we having for dinner? And although I prep all my meals and I have a menu on the fridge so everybody knows what's coming up, there's always that, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Oh, that's so boring. I don't want to have that. So Dan and I decided that what we would do is, after me telling him this, he said, I will do 2 meals a week. I'll prep them on the weekend. So Dan comes home early on a Monday afternoon. He picks up the 2 older boys from swimming lesson or swim squad, and they come home, and he's home by about 5:30. And then I go to the gym. So again, getting my self-care in to take that mental load off my head. And I said, well, you can do Monday because you're here, and you can do whatever you like. You can prep that on Sunday. I don't care what you do, but that's your responsibility. And then he also does one other meal during the week. So all up, he probably is responsible for 3 or 4 meals depending on the week, because he cooks on Saturday and Sunday mostly. Sometimes I do. So, and now he's responsible. But it was really interesting. On yesterday, Sunday, he was prepping the meals and he kept coming to ask me things. And I lost it. And I couldn't speak to him in the moment because I was so mad. And then later on, I said to him, I got mad at that point because you kept coming to me. The reason I wanted you to do the meals was that it takes it off my plate and I don't need to worry about it. But you coming to me and asking me questions about this, that, and the other, it creates stress for me. It makes me feel like, well, I should just bloody do it myself. And he's like, I didn't know that. He said, I didn't know that that's how you felt. And that's that asking questions added to your stress. I said, yes, it does. It makes me feel like I may as well just have done it myself because you can't do it. So acknowledging that and having him acknowledge how I was feeling was really, really, really important. And of course I feel guilty. Of course I feel guilty because, being a stay-at-home mum for such a long time, I was doing the lion's share. Whereas now that we're both working, I feel like I can say to him, actually, we're both working now and we both need to do some things in the house, things around the house. And I think that has helped me. The other thing I've done, and this is a total luxury, I have a cleaner that comes once a fortnight and he's amazing. And that has taken a lot of stress out of my life as well, because I can do the day-to-day cleaning, the tidying up, the wiping over the basin, the toilet, the kitchen. But that really intense clean, I don't have time for it. And so that's my one little luxury. I do have a cleaner. And that has taken an immense load off my brain as well. But the thing I wanted to get across today was that mental load, it goes unnoticed. It's silent, this load that we carry. But today I give it a voice. I see you, women. I see you, girlfriend. I see you, Mama Bear. I see you. I acknowledge you. I love you for all that you do and for all that you lay down in service. I see that it's hard and I see that you carry this. And although you carry it well, I see that it doesn't mean that it's not heavy. So, my love, I acknowledge you. I see you. I'll see you next time.